If you do know, the month of October is Filipino American History Month. This marks the first anniversary of the Filipinos coming to America, but the problem is, not that many people know about it, including me. I didn't really know about this until I saw one of those fancy Instagram carousels about it. So I thought I'd have a conversation with my friend Julianne, who is also Filipino American, just about the month and just to talk about our Filipino American experience in general. So today we're gonna have that conversation and I hope you guys enjoy that. Alright, so here with my friend Julianne. Thank you so much for coming on. We just want to have a conversation about like Filipino American history. I really appreciate you coming on. I know we haven't really talked about like being Filipino American like ourselves, even though you're one of my best Filipino American friends. So yeah. I don't even know why. Like we haven't talked about that, but
I think because we have this we just understand we're both Filipino American.
Yeah.
So we don't treat each other differently, I guess. Or there's never been a part where we've had the need to discuss, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
But we definitely talk about our parents.
Yeah.
And
like
all of that stuff.
Bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we just have like this space to kind of like actually dive in. So I'm excited. Mm-hmm. So why don't we could do a quiz on Filipino American history. To be honest, I didn't really know a lot of these facts myself, which is low-key sad, but let's see if you know it too.
Here we go.
Okay, so do you know, so obviously this month, October, is Filipino American History Month. Do you know why we celebrate it in October, or like, did you know any like the background of why it's like this month?
I'm not sure. Because I don't think it has anything to do with Independence Day.
Because that's in like July.
July. Yeah. I'm not sure. Does it have something to do with like the US or Japan?
The US kind of. So like it's to commemorate the arrival of the first Filipinos who lived in what's now Morro Bay, California, which is fitting because you're now in California. But that was October 18th, 1587. So like way back then. So it's just like to commemorate like first Filipinos in America.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? I didn't even know that either. So
I just thought it was like someone put a petition and then it became.
Oh. I mean, Loki, it was probably that like after, like.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, second question. Rank these Asian American groups in terms of population in America. So we have Chinese Americans, Filipino Americans, and Indian Americans.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. I want to say Chinese, Filipino, Indian.
Yeah, that's actually correct. Wait, that's crazy. Wait, why'd you say that? Or like, why are you thinking that?
I'm just thinking about how the U.S. came to be. I'm pretty sure like Chinese people came in first, and then a lot of Filipinos also migrated, and then Indians.
I actually think it was Filipinos that came here first.
Oh.
I think I read that somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have to fact check that. I don't want to like say that.
Yeah. Also, like Ryan, my boyfriend, he always talks about the most populated like Asian groups in these states. So for some reason, I kind of just connected those two as well.
Yeah, I mean definitely in California, it's like Chinese Americans, I think, that are like really populated.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, next question. I think this one you could probably do. Name 3 famous Filipino American celebrities.
Oh, okay. There's Bea Salonga.
Yeah.
They're all like old people too. I don't know names that well of celebrities, whether they're Filipino or not.
Yeah.
But the guy who's in the last Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Does voice,
It's his name is Dante Bosco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dante
Yeah.
Bosco.
He's really good.
And then there's AJ Raphael.
Of course. Yeah.
Who else?
That was 3, but I'm interested if you know any more.
There's this. Oh, I think Vanessa Hudgens is part Filipino.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Saweetie.
Wait, Saweetie?
Her.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, hers. Yeah, for sure.
And then there's like some Bay Area rappers.
Yeah.
Like,
I just found that out too. I think it's Pilo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does Ryan listen to him?
Yeah, he does. And then there's like this artist I've recently been liking.
Mm-hmm.
His song is really popular on TikTok right now, but he's a Filipino.
Oh, wait, I know what you're talking about, but the lyrics are kind of weird.
Can I play it? This his song, or will it be? Will your video be monetized or whatever?
Oh, you're good, you're good.
This song. Is he not Filipino?
Wait, is he actually? Wait,
Yeah,
that song's so famous.
Yeah.
Wait, let's go, Filipino.
Yeah. It says his mother Valerie is African American and his father was Filipino.
Ooh, okay, that's lit. We need more half, or like, Filipinos in the media and stuff. Next question. You might know this already. Who was the first Filipina and Asian American to win Best Performance by Leading Actress in a Musical at the Tony Awards?
Leia Salonga.
Yeah. Okay, last one.
Oh, I mixed her name. I said Bea Salonga instead of Leia Salonga.
Oh, I mean, I thought you were saying the same thing, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, last one. Who is Larry Itliong? It's okay, I didn't know this one either. So, apparently, in the 60s, like, there's, like, a Mexican-American leader that was pretty famous, Cesar Chavez, which a lot of people know.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's, like, the face of the American labor movement, which was, like, protesting against, like, poor working conditions, low pay. But what's not known is that Larry, who was Filipino, actually worked with him to make that happen. And, like, he was low-key, like, one of the main leaders and contributors to like, having higher pay and like a lot of like farming conditions be approved in the US, but it's just not known that he's like was a part of that, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, that sounds really familiar. I feel like I read something like that way back when.
Yeah, it was probably in like a Instagram carousel or something. Yeah. Okay, so that was the rapid fire history question. I don't know how many you got right, but I feel like you got half right. 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to brush up on my history.
It's okay. I honestly didn't know that either until I googled it, so which is kind of sad, but Okay, so let's move on to the regular questions. So I think one thing that's really core to being like Filipino American is navigating between being Filipino and also being American. So I know you grew up in the DMV area, and you mentioned that there was a lot of Filipinos there, but just not your age. Like, what was like your experience in the DMV area?
So for me, as you know, I moved around my whole life.
Yeah.
So I think thankfully my parents are pretty sociable. So when we find Filipino, we like make friends with Filipinos.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you go to the store and you overhear someone speaking,
I know.
my parents will like start talking to me in Tagalog just to get their attention. They'll be like, "Oh, Kapamayan, like, where are you from?"
Yeah, your dad definitely does that.
So we've had a lot of like family friends through that avenue. Unfortunately, I never really had a lot who are my age or really had that discussion of what it means to be Filipino American.
Yeah.
However, like what's really nice now that I am in the DMV is my dad has this whole alumni group from the Philippines that
Oh, really?
they hold events. Yeah. There's one I actually went to recently from that same alumni group. There's different regions in the United States, and they all come together every year to have this huge like sports cup and connect with each other and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of get to understand their experience from that way, coming to America and I guess being like a first generation and their experiences there. Because there are like similarities between like them and us. Yeah. And then I would meet their kids, but we never really had that discussion because oftentimes the ones that I did meet who were my age were like straight from the Philippines. So a lot of people know about Filipino culture. Yeah. And sharing our experiences. It's more collaborative than it is like, oh, I have the same experiences and that because I grew up in America. It's kind of different.
Yeah, right. Did you kind of feel like there was a in-group, out-group type of situation? Because I know like a lot of Filipinos, like, because they can't really speak the language, it is definitely harder to relate. So, like, did you feel any like that there was like a divide, kind of, or like?
I don't think so. Luckily, everyone I've met has been super nice. No judgment. I mean, yeah. For example, something we would do because of my dad's alumnus is the fact that where we live near Annapolis, which
Okay.
is near there's a naval academy that's in Annapolis, so we live
Okay.
like an hour or two away from there.
Yeah, yeah.
And what they'll do is they'll have Filipino cadets there,
Mm.
and we'll sometimes host them.
Yeah.
There it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, it's their winter break or something like that. They'll come over and we'll just like chat about, oh, but what do you think about America? What's going on?
Yeah.
So I've met a lot of people through there, or if people are from West Point, sometimes they'll come over to our house as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll host them and I'll learn about their experiences coming to America to study. And then I would also share my experiences about being Filipino here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice to, like, we're still Filipino, but we have not such different, but there's still differences in our lived experiences that it's really
Right.
nice to go back and forth.
Right. I feel like there's like this just like instinctual Filipino culture or value that like we all just like somehow get together, even though we don't necessarily have like a tie or like we're not like as close or whatever, but we have that still shared understanding that we're Filipino and like we just want to have a good time, that kind of thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think we really see that whenever there's a Filipino American or from other country like Australia, for instance, whenever someone gets big or huge,
Oh yeah.
we all just unite. We're like, oh yeah, that's our
Like
girl.
that's
Like,
us.
he's
Yeah.
Filipino. I know there's a word for it. It's kind of like a Filipino's heart or compassion. Like there's a word for it, I think.
Actually,
But there's just like that mutual,
yeah.
like you said, understanding.
Is it kapwa that you're thinking about? Or
It would be, I don't know.
yeah. Because I was actually so I read this like book that I got. I don't know if I think I shared this TikTok with you, but like they talk about like the idea of kapwa, which is like which literally means like other in Tagalog, but like when you talk about other in English, it's kind of like an in group out group like nuance, but in Tagalog, what they mean by other is actually like that the other person should be like the same as me, like more like a shared like humanity or shared human type thing. So like I found that that's really interesting, and like the Filipinos have that nuance in that word, and like it's just so ingrained. Like I feel like every Filipino I meet, like they're always just so welcoming, and like they have that shared like we know that we're just like humans type thing. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
It does. I think it's just very difficult. There's like a word for it, but it's very difficult to sometimes translate the actual meaning and feeling of a word. But that's exactly what I mean.
yeah.
We just know when we see a Filipino, like, that's our family.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's just interesting that like I could just literally meet anyone and I suddenly just feel like closer. I don't know if it's like just our culture specifically or like any other cultures, but I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, like when we first met, we were like, Filipino? Filipino?
Yeah, that's true. Like that's all that it took, like yeah. I mean obviously like we have like other like stuff that we're also interested too, but yeah.
It's just, like just like, not personality, but their inherent goodness, I guess.
That's true. I feel like a lot of Filipinos like do have that like inherent like we want to help each other out, even if they're not Filipino. Like I know, like speaking from my experience, like my parents like at work, my dad had like a coworker, and then his daughter needed like some place to stay for the summer, and then my dad instantly was just like, yeah, you could like stay at my house, even though like they weren't the closest, but like it's just like
always like that.
yeah. Did you have any like something like that like, growing up or
all the time?
Yeah.
We always had people staying at our house. For instance, like we had like a family of 3 stay at our house for like a whole month because the dad was here.
A family, wow.
Like a work related thing.
Yeah.
And so they just like stayed in our basement for like a whole month or 2.
Yeah.
And like lived with us. And then during COVID, one of the cadets from the Naval Academy, she couldn't go home to the Philippines because everything shut down. So she stayed with us for like almost half a year.
Yeah.
The same time when we had school shut down and we had remote.
Oh yeah.
So everyone was remote at home. So yeah, I feel like we always just extend an arm and a leg.
Yeah. That's true. But do you feel like now that like you're in California, like you have more opportunity for like community? Because like there are historically a lot more Filipinos there. Have you? I mean, I know you just moved, but like, do you see any differences or like?
Not yet. I have a lot of family here, which
Oh,
is
okay.
really
Like in SF or
yeah,
in LA, or like?
both in SF and
Oh,
LA.
okay.
But I think it's really I haven't met anyone my age to kind of just randomly talk about like my
Right.
heritage.
Right.
I will say the one draw side of living here by myself now is
Mhm.
I like at home my parents always spoke to me in Tagalog or Kapampangan,
Yeah.
but now that they don't, I'm just afraid that I might lose that understanding.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
That's true. I mean, I feel like since I moved back to Long Island, like living with my parents, I definitely like notice a lot more of like me catching some Filipino things here and there. Not just the culture. I mean, not just the language, but like the culture too. So I thought that was interesting because coming back as like a college student versus like living there like when you're just a kid, like I find that I notice like some things a little bit more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're more appreciative
Yeah.
of,
Yeah.
of your parents and everything.
Like you kind of understand like why they did certain things or like in the past.
You're always like, oh, my parents are really right about this, or oh man, I understand why they sacrificed X, Y, Z type of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like that's just a part of growing up, but I don't know.
The growing pains.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this a little bit, but like with being Filipino American, like you also have to navigate like being American and not being Filipino enough. Like I know you had like went on like trips to the Philippines and stuff. Did you kind of feel that like because you didn't know the language that much, like did you feel that like divide there or?
I think I was really privileged in the way that I grew up.
Okay.
I feel very close and personal to my Filipino heritage just because, like, my parents always cooked Filipino food. They always talked to us. We always watched their serie.
Yeah.
Like the variety shows. My grandma and grandpas would come visit us for like month's end. And then every few years we would go to the Philippines, which was it was like a really good learning experience to understanding like where my parents come from, why I am the way I am, but then also merging it with also being born here and growing up. There are definitely instances where I wish I was more Filipino. That being fluent in Tagalog, for instance.
Yeah.
Learning, like trying to relearn, but
Right,
I have what they call receptive bilingualism.
Okay. What is that? It's like
So essentially, you can understand the language perfectly,
yeah,
but you can't
like speak it back.
speak it back.
Yeah, that's kind of like
That's
me. Yeah.
always, that's always like the awkward conversation for me is whenever I meet one of my dad's family friends or I see new relatives or just like any Filipino, for instance. For example, I was at the dentist last week.
Oh, really?
The dentist was Filipino.
Yeah.
This is a new dentist that I met, and he instantly recognized I was Filipino. He said, "Do you understand? No, are you Filipino?"
Yeah.
And as a way of respect, I said, "Opo,"
Yeah.
and which means yes in a formal way. And he looked at me and goes, "Oh, were you born in the Philippines?" And I said, "No, I was born here." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I could tell by the way you said opo."
Wait, really? He did that? Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't know if I should have felt offended by that or whatever, but I
Yeah.
was like, dang, I didn't know you could tell the difference.
Like just by that.
Just
yeah.
by one, like I was like, opo.
Yeah. Dang, that's crazy. I feel like that's kind of an insult, but also not. I don't know what to think about either. Like.
Yeah, but I don't know. I felt like it kind of put me in place. I don't know, but
Like, do you feel like
I
it
didn't know
checked
how to
you,
react.
or like kind of like?
I think it definitely just confirmed that I have an English accent when it comes
Oh,
to
yeah, that's true.
Tagalog.
Yeah.
Because I think when you're from the Philippines, you just know because of the way it rolls off their tongue.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like that's just like who we are. Like, and we can't change that. So it's like, I don't know.
And I think it just shows like our effort too.
Yeah, that's true. Like it has to be like a two-way street. Like it can't just be like, yeah. It actually the other day I went to like a Filipino restaurant and like I walked in and he was like, oh, like in Tagalog, he was like, oh, can you speak Tagalog? Or like, can you understand? And I was like, oh, yeah, like, and then he started speaking like rapid like Tagalog to me, and I was like, oh, this is really testing my knowledge. But thankfully, I like understood like for the most part what he said, so I could kind of like, yeah, I couldn't speak back, but like yeah, I need to get better so I could like actually speak and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing that's not necessarily pulling me back, but I wish I could just be like, oh yeah, I can, and just bust out into Tagalog or
Yeah,
Kapampangan.
yeah. I actually saw this TikTok that was like, if you want to like fake that you're like that you know the language, like you just like repeat whatever they said, like to you. Like you say like opo, but then like you say like opo, like I can speak, like you know what I mean. Like I don't know how to say that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think what's really hard too for me is when I was younger,
Hmm.
whenever I went to the Philippines, I could easily speak it.
Oh really?
Uh,
Okay.
mhm. But then growing up, when I would go back there, I realized that because my parents would speak to me in two dialects interchangeably,
Oh yeah.
and I never really knew the difference between the two being Tagalog and Kapampangan.
Hmm.
That when I went to the Philippines, I would say a sentence mixing the two, and I
Oh
would say, "What are you saying?"
yeah. They're like wait what?
And I'm like, I don't know. But even with these language apps, like I'm trying to relearn.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm okay at a basic conversation
Right.
no rate where like I can speak with my grandma at least.
Mm.
But I want to get better where it just comes out my tongue. But it's really hard. Like I'm not living with my parents anymore,
Yeah.
so I don't know when to practice and things like that. Because usually when I was home, like I would just speak to my parents about their day and
Oh, in
like
Tagalog.
try.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
But
I
I don't
should do
have
that.
so.
Like what apps have you been using? Like, cause I've been trying to also learn Tagalog as well, and I haven't really used like Duolingo, but I've just been like just trying to get like vocab and
Mhm.
stuff. Um, so just mainly like memorization and like grammar here and there with like this podcast. But yeah, I'm interested like what you use.
Yeah. So the only thing with Duolingo, there's this TikTok I saw where
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, speaking French in Duolingo," and basically you know all these random words and sentence structures that aren't really applicable in the
Oh
situation.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
So I have to send that to you,
Yeah.
but it's very accurate. Like when I
Mhm.
was using that when I was learning French,
Yeah.
like it didn't really align perfectly.
Right. Right.
But one I do like where you do learn the conversational piece and application
Mm-hmm.
is this app called Ling.
I've heard of that.
L-A-N-G.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's $60 for a year,
Oh.
but
Wow.
it's really good. Like
Yeah.
I think I only took maybe like 10 lessons, and I was
Mhm.
able to hold a conversation pretty well with my parents. Like
Oh really?
basic, like,
Wow.
oh, how are you? What do you do for work? Where do you come from?
Mm-hmm.
What did you have for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? And things like that. That one's really good, and I think we probably listen to the same podcast.
Is it the purple one? The
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That one's really good
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. I think that
I
one's
really
called
like-
Go Filipino.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I like those two. They're really great. I think it's just a little formal.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
when I tried to speak with my parents using what I learned from Ling, they would also caveat like, "Oh, you can say it in that way, but in
it's
everyday
like.
language it's said like this, like for numbers, for instance."
Oh. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like we talk a lot about like our own experience, but like, is there something that like makes you proud to be Filipino American specifically?
Most definitely, I think would be the fact that I can share my culture.
Mm.
There's such a hodgepodge of cultures and ethnicities here in the United States that I'm not only learning from others,
Mm-hmm.
but I can also share with others about what it means to be Filipino as well.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is I love to eat.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
a lot about cultures and its history based on the foods that are present.
Mm.
And I just love cooking for people and like cooking Filipino food and being
Yeah.
like, oh, like, this is how Filipinos eat, and showing them, oh, you can either eat this, you eat this dish with your hands, or you would eat, you know,
Right.
typical meals with rice and like a main dish.
Mhm.
You would eat with a fork and a spoon. And also just sharing how our culture is so influenced by
Mm.
different people who have colonized us, I guess, and
Right.
as a regionality as well, that we have that influence.
I was
Is
just
sharing like my experiences and my culture with others. Like whenever we had Heritage Month at school, like
Mhm.
I'd always have my mom cook something, and I'd be really
Oh
excited.
yeah. My mama cooked the lumpia, and then that would be gone like instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that part about how we are able to share our cultures and ethnicities with others around us, especially in college.
Mm.
You remember, like,
Yeah. Like you would cook for
just
me.
our friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's also really nice, and also the fact that we get to dabble into different cultures
Mm.
and find and figure out our way on like what it means to be Filipino American.
Yeah. I was actually. Oh
Mhm.
no, you go.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say like, I was thinking about the other day, just like coming up with the questions on this video and like just reflecting on like what I think it means to be Filipino American, and like it was honestly a really hard, like it's hard for me to come up with an answer, but I think that that's like a symptom of like what I think it is. So for example, like I think being Filipino American is sitting in the middle between like different cultures, and like the culmination of that is what makes us like Filipino American. Is that kind of what, I mean, you mentioned that a little bit earlier, like do you think that's kind of like what you would say it is to be Filipino American?
Yeah, that's definitely part of the whole experience as well,
Yeah.
which is I think beautiful.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
just like with religion,
Mm.
everyone has their own experience with what it means to be XYZ. For instance, most Filipinos, how you are as a Catholic.
Yeah.
So those are kind of similar in the way that how we understand to be Filipino American and what it means to navigate that.
Yeah. Like I feel like navigating between being American and navigating between being like Filipino, and also like just like the cultures that we grew up like in my area historically, there's like more like Korean or Chinese. So like I mean even that has like kind of influenced us as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, Filipinos love K-dramas, man.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's actually a good segue into like one of the other questions I had. Like so recently, like Korean culture has kind of become popular in like the media, and like a lot of people have known more about Korean culture. Do you think Filipino culture will ever reach that state, or like I don't know? What are your thoughts on that?
I definitely think it has potential to, because
Yeah.
with how intricate other cultures that are huge, like Korean culture, for instance, Filipinos also, or the Philippines also has its own uniqueness and flavor profile going back to food
Right.
that we can share with the world. And I think as Filipino Americans are rising up to popularity, celebrity status, it's kind of opening up that avenue. For instance, what's his name?
Is there
40 has, which is a huge
Yeah.
like rapper. He has a lumpia business.
wait actually?
That brings a lot of attention.
That's crazy.
Singers like Blast have a huge Filipino following, and there's even Korean artists who like came to the Philippines for opportunities as well,
Yeah.
and bringing that back to their culture, like Sandara Park.
Yeah.
She's originally Korean, and I've seen some of her videos where she talks about living in the Philippines, things like that. And just yesterday, I watched this video about this girl who's been living in the Philippines for 10 years. She's from Korea.
Okay.
And she was sharing like food and desserts with
Ooh.
grandparents, like Korean grandparents.
Yeah.
It was a really good video. I'll send it to you. But
Yeah.
I think little by little, as we share our culture with others and it becomes more popular in the mainstream, I think it does have the potential to make it big. And like there's like groups that are kind of emerging in music.
Oh, like P-pop groups?
P-pop.
Yeah, yeah. Which is weird to
So
say,
who knows?
but yeah.
Who knows?
That's true. I recently heard a couple P-pop groups, and they're actually like really good. I mean,
Yeah, they're,
Philippines
like,
are
catchy.
yeah, Philippines are good at singing anyway. So
It definitely brings a lot. What is it? A lot of attention is being made. I think now it.
for sure.
There's like a K-pop group who has a Filipino.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those actually. Yeah.
Lapillius.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure,
But
but
there's someone named Shanti. She's from the Philippines, and like they
ooh,
to Korea, and you know people in Korea watch those things too.
yeah. Have you seen this show? Is like, do you know Brian Poos Poos, like the dancer?
I don't think so.
Okay, so he was like this judge on this like show where they basically like make a P-pop group. Like they have like a bunch of dudes like come in, like it's like an elimination, one of those shows. I don't know if you've seen those.
Like produce.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like Filipino version, which I thought was actually really cool. It's on YouTube. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like those kind of shows and like just stuff like that. Like we really need to kind of push, I guess, push the agenda, quote unquote. But like, yeah.
There's definitely opportunity for growth, and I'm really excited to see what that means.
Like I feel like we just need like more eyes. Like I feel like they just need to like do their own thing and then like become famous and then like they just
Yeah.
yeah.
Who knows? It could be you too, or me.
That's what I'm saying. Like I mean that's kind of like one of the reasons why I want to do YouTube and stuff, like to be like, weird to say, but like a role model for like just to let people know that it's possible to make it as like a Filipino American content creator, if that makes sense. So yeah.
See it.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing like content stuff? I feel like you'd be good at it too, but I don't know.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I was just thinking a few days ago that I think I'd want to do a food blog.
Ooh, you should
Or
do it.
something.
Yeah.
Because I have rights to a website with my name.
Oh,
but
you got to use that.
I haven't figured out what I want to use with it just yet. But food is probably like up there. Because I eat so much, like I track my expenses, and I was like scrolling through. It says food and drink, food and drink, food and drink, food and drink. And I was like, oh my god! Now I might as well try to make money off of that because I like love to travel and eat so much.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like you kind of like give really good descriptions about food and stuff, like when you're tasting it. Like it's very like specific.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's very like it's true to what it is, if that makes sense. Like it's like you're not like coming up with it just to say it, like, if that makes sense.
I mean, shoot. If you see me in a few months with the food vlog, I'm gonna credit you.
Hey, I mean, we could collab and stuff. That would be mad fun.
I know.
Yeah.
I've always thought about mukbangs too, like just eating and talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I'm just so, I don't know. I feel like it's an excuse to say I'm so busy, but if there's a will, there's a way.
That's true. I mean, you have just like recently moved and like probably still like transitioning and stuff. So, I mean, you are busy now. So.
Yeah, I definitely want to someday. I think.
Yeah.
Like that creativity aspect. But we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm still trying to understand my passions.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I have a lot.
I feel like we have that kind of shared, like we both are into a lot of different aspects. I always find myself like focusing on one and then moving to the other and then moving to the other. Do you have like that same experience or yeah?
Yeah, like when trying to understand your niche in what creative content you want to create.
Yeah.
There's so many options, and I feel like I could be good at so many different things that it's so hard to choose one. I mean, I felt that way too, figuring out my career. But right now, I'm thinking food. In college, I thought physical fitness.
Oh yeah.
And stuff. That was what it could be next year or whatever.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
Who knows?
But I feel like you gotta just like
do it.
Yeah, exactly. Cause like you would have never known if you enjoyed doing that niche if you didn't like do it. So.
Yeah, I need to stop brainstorming and just do it.
Yeah.
Because unless you experiment and try, you will never know. Like you can't perfect it, and I think that's the thing that's holding me back is I can be a perfectionist sometimes. So
Same.
yeah.
Yeah. But it means we care, right? Like, it just means, like, we care about the stuff we produce and
The
stuff.
result.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Which is a good thing, but...
Yeah. Plus, we just have this, like, eye that has to go look a certain way.
Yeah.
Satisfied.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, we can't just, like, compile a bunch of stuff together and then there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's true. I feel like we just gotta let go of, like, that feeling of perfectionism, or... I don't know.
Yeah. Perfectionism and, like, the feeling of being judged. I mean, you're already doing it, so it's great. Not being judged, but
Yeah.
you're already creating content, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like some people are just like, oh, we don't want to be made fun of by our peers or whatever. But it shouldn't really matter at the end of the day.
But I mean, I feel like even like creating like a lot of these videos, like I still kind of feel that way. Like even like I don't know, I'm at like 20 videos in or whatever. But like it's definitely like it's like a kind of a habit that we have in our mind. Like, and I feel like it takes time to let that go and like through the process of producing and putting it out there. I don't know. So hopefully later it'll
just go away and you'll just
yeah. But we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
You're inspiring me all day.
Yeah, you should do it. I mean,
think the gears are turning.
I mean, I feel like that's one of the reasons why I wanted to like do this in the first place. Like, even if no one watches, like, just inspiring the people that I know and like that like to be the best versions of themselves. And like, because I used to like want to like change the world and like, you know what I mean, like do things at a big scale. But now I'm just thinking like I just want to like slightly change the people that I know, like individuals, because that's like their world, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
and
that's a starting place too that I need to think about.
Yeah, lots of thoughts to reflect on, I guess.
Oh man, don't make me hyperfixate right now.
But yeah, I feel like we did stray away from the Filipino American conversation a little bit, but do you have any like topics that you think that we should think about?
Maybe I just wish I had more opportunities to make more friends who are Filipino American. I mean, I have you, which is great.
Yeah.
But, no, like I'd love to meet other Filipino American
like people like our age.
Yeah, like our age.
Yeah.
And
we're like 23.
Yeah, like all that stuff to share and all of that. Because everyone is different. Like, everyone has such a different lived experience that I love learning from other people, that I also love to learn about.
Like their experience.
Their experience as a Filipino American as well.
Yeah.
I also want to learn more history. Like, I'm trying to find a good book. That's probably a good one, the one you have.
Yeah. It goes into like, it's more like Filipino history. Like about the Philippines, and like it takes you from pre-colonization to like now, and actually it's about psychology, so I think you would like that, like about the psychology that we have from being colonized, and like that's sort of, they call it colonial mentality, and how that's kind of passed on generationally from like from being Spain to the generation of today.
Yeah, that's a big one too. Like the psyche of a Filipino American as well, especially like the second. Are we considered second generation? Right. I think we would technically be first generation Filipino American, but second generation immigrant.
Yeah, I that sounds correct.
Okay, I don't know.
Right?
There's someone correct that they see this.
Yeah.
But I've definitely like noticed how people are when their parents like moved here from an early age and then grew up in America, or like they were born here in America and then had like their kids as well. But yeah, like going back to my original thought, there's certain, I don't want to necessarily say traumas,
or like biases, or like
biases, or like feelings of guilt or whatever.
Yeah.
Certain aspects that we definitely feel, and probably in a lot of other. Not you don't have to be Filipino American to feel that. There's definitely other something American, Asian Americans that feel that way. Like one of them being leaving home, or having these experiences your parents didn't have, like that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Life's beautiful. It's great. There's a lot to learn.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it on my end.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of anything else, but I don't know. I just want to thank you for doing this. I know you be a busy person, so just appreciate you taking the time to do this. And I really had a really fun time just speaking about like our experiences and stuff. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get pretty good one-liners from all of this.
Yeah. No, I think we did. Yeah.
I'm very honored and glad that you like thought of me to like talk about it and stuff.
Yes, for sure.
Sometimes I don't even know if I have enough to, like enough. Not that anyone should have credentials, but it made me think in the past like 24 hours that we set this up. I was like, what can I talk about? What do I know?
But I know what you mean. Like I feel like, but we can only kind of speak about like our own experience and hope that it resonates. So
yeah,
that's kind of how I think about it. But
yeah, it was fun. Like
yeah,
I'm sure we could go on multiple tangents too.
I feel like we only scratched the surface.
Yeah, we definitely scratched the surface because there's so much more to talk about. And like a 10-minute video can only encompass so much. But it's a good like
starting point.
Start.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. I think we have a long way to go in terms of just having more people aware about Filipino culture in general, and also just learning about being Filipino ourselves. I think a great starting point is just to be educated on the whole topic as a whole. So I'm going to link all the things I mentioned in the video, such as this book that I talked about. I think this is a great starting point to learn about Filipino history in general. If you're interested in learning more about the language, I started learning Tagalog myself, so you can take a look at that video somewhere over here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.